This week's video reaction comes from Monza, where as usual he gets a little bit leery, but does the race turn out well in the end? And just before we get into it, I'd like to make a shout out to Godmode, who not only gave me some very good racing, but I believe he's one of my subscribers. Cheers mate! And as we head down the start finish straight here at Monza, you'll notice that this Monza's a little different. Yeah, it's the non-chicane version, which means by the time you hit this sweeping right-hander, you're doing some very, very high speeds. But more importantly, as you approach this chicane, your braking point has changed. In fact, changed quite dramatically. And that caught a lot of people out, as you can see there. And as we come around the next corner, you can see somebody else is off already. In fact, this was a bit of a theme for the first lap. But then again, Monza usually throws up a little bit of chaos anyway. And quickly looking down to the chat bar, you can see we have another leader. And I get the feeling that comment wasn't a compliment either. And as we come into turn 11 of the Parabolica, as it's more commonly known, we find ourselves at the end of lap 1. Just a little squirt of the throttle, head down the straight, and then we'll cross the finish line. And actually, once we cross the finish line, we're going to jump ahead quite a bit, because for the next almost 2 laps, nothing really happened. And as we find ourselves at the end of lap 3, this is where I make a little mistake. So I take the first apex okay, but as we come up this one, I'm a bit greedy, and I cut it, all 4 wheels over the line. And that unfortunately gets me a half-second penalty, which to be fair, I deserved. But up ahead, Godmode had obviously already made a mistake and he got a penalty too, which allowed me to catch up behind him. Unfortunately, I focused a bit too much on him and didn't see that Draki was throwing an absolute dive bomb up the inside and made it stick, fair play, but then we've got this. How on earth can cars be allowed to get all 4 wheels over the line that far for that amount of time and not get a penalty? What an absolute crock of... And as if it wasn't bad enough having to watch that, all of a sudden I get overtaken by the BMW coming up on the inside. Now, it's kind of my fault. I drive the Aston Martin DB9 and I love that car. It's very good in the corners, it can handle the curbs superbly. Unfortunately, its Achilles heel is its top end speed. Compared to the BMW and especially compared to the Supra, it just hasn't got the top end grunt. And on a course like Monza with very long straights, I'm going to pay a penalty for that, and that is faster cars are going to absolutely eat me up. And as we cross the penalty line and I serve the penalty that I got earlier, the little group of cars ahead start pulling away, and on this long straight they really do pull away. Remember Parabolica, I go, one of the cars ahead locked up or was a little bit of contact. It doesn't make much difference, it doesn't really give me any chance to catch up. I am not in their slipstream. And then you got the fact that they all go off the track again, at least all 4 wheels. I was a little bit cheeky there and abused the line, but not as much as them. And as we jump ahead to the complex, at the end of lap 5 you can see ahead that Godmode got it all kinds of wrong. That led me to make up a place. Now, I was starting to catch up as well, so I'm guessing when the 3 guys up ahead were all in a group, they'd been squabbling. Well, that's my gain, that's their loss. I managed to catch up some time, and I can now see them a lot more clearly. Again, remember Parabolica? This is just a fantastic bend. Halfway through it, floor it, and go down this amazing start-finish straight. And now, we start lap 6. And we speed through this a little bit until we come to the first chicane. Now, I go to turn in here normally only to get sideswiped by Naki and I get sent off. But as he comes back, he's on the dirt and I decide, well, I'm not moving over. I'm going to keep you where you are, you can slow down and I'll keep my position. It was his own fault, he shouldn't have dive bombed up the inside and take me out. And this time, Naki does it properly. I go too wide, he was in my slipstream, so he cuts to the inside and goes past me. Now, okay, he's off the track almost a little bit there, but that's fair. And then he does this, off the track again, like everybody else. If you look, it doesn't gain him anything. I wasn't in his slipstream and he hasn't managed to pull away from me. And as we jump ahead towards the end of the lap, you can see there's a puff of smoke ahead and there's contact between the little group of three, and the German, Alga, sorry for pronunciation, is sent wide and into the gravel. Now another puff of smoke there, and it's quite obvious that Naki is basically driving like a bit of a tit. He doesn't care about pushing anybody else off if he can gain himself a place. And again, another puff of smoke, as was contact between them again. He's definitely not what you call a clean driver. And as we approach the end of lap 8, I make a rookie error, turning way too early, cut too much of that curb, and that inevitably leads me to getting a 1 second penalty. The good point here is though, I hadn't realised at first that Naki had already picked up a penalty and he was slowing down. Not surprising when you consider how many people he'd already made contact with, and that let me move up into second. Unfortunately, I've now got him behind me, but he goes too wide around the parabolica and off the track, which gives me a little bit of breathing space as we come up to finish off this lap. See, I know what you're all thinking now. We're coming up back to chicane again. Naki's behind me. He's going to have a go. He's going to throw one up the inside and he's going to take me out like he did last time. But no, you'd be surprised. He actually goes from the other side and takes me out, and then hits me again for once more just to push me into the gravel. I like that guy. Not. Now a couple of corners later, he puts it in the gravel, scrubs off all his speed, and that allows me to have a fairly easy overtake, although I was dubious whether he put me in the wall or not, and he doesn't. But now we're coming up to the infield section again, and he's right behind me, so there we go, there's one tap. Then he has another go. I mean, he's fighting me all the way through the chicane. The guy is an absolute tool. I've already got a 1 second penalty. He's guaranteed to pass me on the straight. But no, let's just act like a jerk. And now a 1 second penalty here really kills your speed. And well, I don't need to be a jerk. I've already seen the guy coming up behind me, and so I just stay to the side and let him take the place. It's Godspeed, and I've already had a good couple of corners and just a few laps of him. He's not a bad driver, so I'm just thinking now, try and stay in his slipstream, keep up as best as I can with the Super, which is overpowered compared to my DB9, but I'm doing okay. In fact, for some reason, I'm even managing to catch him a little bit, and that's fine by me. And as we approach the chicane, I'm thinking, I'm going to have a go here, clip the apex, but then I just take that one way too steep, cut it, gain myself a ½ second penalty. I do, however, manage to have the speed, and I managed to take the place on the inside. There was a little bit of rubbing, but I think I gave him enough room. And unfortunately, not for the first time this race, my mistake gets me a penalty, and God mode comes flying past me. And fair play to him. My bad, my mistake. So we're heading into a parabolica. Now we're at the end of lap 10, and I know for a fact I've only got 2 laps left. God mode goes very, very wide there, and a little bit cheeky I suppose that he's allowed to keep the place. I do a little bit of corner cutting this time. Hell, why not? Everybody else has. And now it's just a matter of trying to keep up with him, and if I get a chance, I'm going to take the position. And as we come up to the chicane, I'm feeling confident. Late on the brakes, and I managed to keep it on the track. I'm there, I think I got the place, but no, he manages to get past me. I mean, that is some blatant corner cutting. But if you don't get the penalty, you play to the whistle, you know what I'm saying? And as we head down the back straight, I'm already thinking of a parabolica, and I'm going to have another go. I'm going up the inside. And as we approach the bend, no, God's mode moves over, forces me to go around the outside, and then we notice that Draki in the Supra has actually gone off. Now, I was going to try and take the place for third, and we literally get gifted a second and third place. Okay, God mode, a little bit cheeky there, he cuts that corner again, and I'm staying in the slipstream. I'm going to take him, and I make such a rookie error. Instead of using my speed to go past him, I nudge him and effectively give him a bump draft. And as we come up to the end of the final lap, there's nothing I could do to catch him. God mode had played really good last lap, not made any mistakes. And, to be fair, I was concentrating more on the BMW that was closing in behind me. But he didn't have enough room to catch up anyway. And so, we cross the line, and I get myself a nice third place. And that concludes another mad race at Monza. Definitely still one of my favourite tracks. For more great videos like this one, just follow this link. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.